Good evening, Jai Hind. So I hope all of you are doing well. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Shubham. Good evening. Good evening, Radhe Radhe. So I hope all of you are doing well. Good evening. Good evening. Okay, so in today's session, we are going to talk about a very important topic which has come recently. That is last day. There was a landmark judgment from Supreme Court. So in today's session, we are going to talk about that session, that very judgment of the Supreme Court. It has made significant changes to the power of governor. It has made significant changes to Article 200 and Article 201 of our Constitution. So in today's session, the topic which we are going to discuss, the first one is governor and judiciary. So there has been this judgment by the Supreme Court of India with respect to the governor's power to withhold assent to any bill passed by the state legislature. So these are one of the moments which are the defining moments in the history of the Constitution. And yes, of course, this is one of the most remarkable change. Okay. So this is one of the topic which we are going to discuss in today's session. The second thing is, we are going to discuss about a term which is called as caveat. This is a new term which was recently there in the news again a few days ago, and today in newspaper also, like last day itself, the government of India has filed a caveat petition. So we will try to understand what is the meaning of this caveat petition. The third thing which we are going to talk about is active mobility. So this is a very important topic from the health and disease, and especially with respect to the public health. Recently, the Karnataka government has come with various initiatives promoting the active mobility. So we are going to talk about this one also. Then the next thing which we are going to talk about is again from GS paper 2, bilateralism versus multilateralism. That what is the difference, what is the advantages and disadvantages. Right now we see that like this bilateralism and multilateralism, it is continuously there in the debate, continuously in many articles and all the different things. So we are going to see this evaluation of this bilateralism and multilateralism. So these are the topics which we are going to discuss in today's session. But before that, let us discuss some of the topics, some of the questions. Sorry, question starting from here. Okay. With reference to the sunspots, consider the following statements. I think Tirupati Laddu question got repeated, but then start with this one. Sunspots appear darker than the surrounding areas because they are regions of higher temperature and magnetic activity. Increased sunspot activity is generally associated with a decrease in solar radiation reaching the earth. A sunspot can be even larger than a planet. How many statements given above are correct? This is question number 1. Now that is not question number 1. This is question number 1. Tirupati Laddu cancelled. So this is the question number 1 now. The question is asking about sunspots. The first one is saying sunspots appear darker than the surrounding areas because they are regions of higher temperature and magnetic activity. Increased sunspot activity is generally associated with a decrease in solar radiation reaching the earth. And third is saying a sunspot can be even larger than a planet. So I think most of the people are going with option number B. B is only 2 are correct. Okay. Anything else? Any other answer? A few answer as option A also. Anyone with option C or D? See, if we look at this question, a sunspot can be even larger than a planet. That is correct. We have seen it can be larger than Earth also. It can be even like much more larger than Earth. It can be equivalent to a Jupiter like planet also. Okay. So this sunspot, this first statement is correct. Increased sunspot activity is generally associated with a decrease in solar radiation. There is no such connection. In fact, there can be more solar radiation, not the lesser one. Okay. So second option is also incorrect. Third is saying sunspots appear darker than the surrounding areas because they are regions of higher temperature. This is lower temperature. It is not higher temperature, it is a lower temperature region. So here you will find that temperature is comparatively lower. Here it is not higher, it is lower. If sunspot is there, it can have average temperature of 42 degrees Celsius in comparison to 6000 degrees Celsius. Okay. So this first option is also incorrect. Answer is option number A. Only 1. Okay. So that is question number 1. Okay. Golan Heights share border with how many of the following? Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Israel. Okay. Golan Heights is sharing border. Golan Heights area is sharing border or touching the portions of which of these countries? Golan Heights. This is question number 2. Golan Heights share border with how many of the following? The option is Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Israel. Israel and Syria. Okay. Okay, so you have not gone through the map. If you look at this, Golan Heights share border with all of them. Golan Heights is in the upper portion. It is in the upper portion of Israel. On one side you have Syria, on one side you have this Israel. In the upper portion there is a narrow edge connecting with the Lebanon. On the downside, on the south side, it is also touching with Jordan. So Golan Heights is an area which is touching the borders of all the 4 countries. Israel also, Syria also, the Lebanon portion also, and even the Jordan towards the south. So answer here is option number D, all 4. Okay. The all 4 countries, if you look at the map carefully, you will find all these countries are sharing border. Okay. So here our answer is this option number 4. So for today we have only 2 questions. That one question is mistakenly absent there, mysteriously absent there. Okay. Yes, Jordan is also there. Let me show you. Just let me show you once. Like if we look at this, if we look at the portions of Golan Heights. Okay. If we look at this Golan Height here, you will find that just look at this image. On this front it is touching Lebanon, here you have Syria, here this portion is touching the Jordan region, and this side you have Israel. Okay, so if you like look at this area, let me show you another portion. On this it will be much more visible. This will be much more visible. If you look at this, this is the Golan Heights area. Here you have Jordan, here you have Lebanon, on this side you have Israel, on this side you have Syria. So I think from this image you can get the clarity. This is the portion of Syria. Here you will find this is the portion of Jordan. Upper side, here you have this Lebanon, and on this side you have Israel. Okay. So 4 countries are there which are sharing border with this region of Golan Heights. Clear? Now, coming to the next part, like we are going to start with this one, the Supreme Court's judgment with respect to the governor. Okay. Now see, what is the judgment all about? Let us talk about this one. Okay. Let us just see this once. Okay. Now, if we look at this, what is the case all about? What is the context? We have discussed this earlier also. That in Tamil Nadu, the governor of Tamil Nadu has not given assent to 10 to 12 bills for more than 2-3 years. Okay. He has like withhold the assent for a very long period of time, even though it has been passed by the Legislative Assembly. Okay. Now, he has like kept some of the bill for the consideration of the president, whereas for other bills, he has neither kept it for consideration of president nor rejected the bill, not given the assent. So, in the case of Tamil Nadu, the governor was using pocket veto. The governor was using the pocket veto. Okay. So, on this context itself, now there is a judgment by the Supreme Court. Okay. So, there is Article 200, which talks about that how the governor can give assent, withhold assent, or reject a bill. In that, it is said that governor can decide to withhold the assent or to give the assent as soon as possible. So there is a time frame which is written here. As soon as possible. This word was used there in the Constitution itself, as soon as possible. So now this as soon as possible can be as delayed as 3 years, 5 years, or 7 years, because as soon as possible is not a fixed time frame. So what used to be done, that many of the governors were withholding assent or were not giving or doing no activity with respect to a bill. So there was this case from Tamil Nadu about this part itself, Article 200. So now what is the observation of the Supreme Court? What did the Supreme Court said here? What were the observation? Okay. Supreme Court said that the action of Tamil Nadu governor, is unconstitutional. The Supreme Court has said that this is unconstitutional. Why it is unconstitutional? It says that the governor cannot be a roadblock for the state legislative assembly. Okay. The governor cannot act as roadblock. Okay. It says that the governor is supposed to be a counselor. It is supposed to be a helping hand, not a hindrance, not a roadblock for the elected government. It says that in our country, it is all about the elected government, not about the governor or any nominated member. Okay. So it says that this governor have to should be acting as counselor, or helping hand. Okay. So governor cannot be the roadblock. It has to act in a bipartisan manner. It has to be the counselor. It has to be the helping hand. Okay. Yes, friend, philosopher, and guide. So it has to be that friend, philosopher, and guide of the government, not the hindrance, not the roadblock. Okay. So it has termed the inaction of the Tamil Nadu governor as unconstitutional. There is another part. So now the main thing is what is the essence of the article? What is the essence of the judgment? Like what will be finally done now? Now there is a fixed timeline. It has given a fixed timeline now. That timeline is like this. It has given this timeline that 1 month, this as soon as possible has now been defined. As soon as possible, it has been defined now. It has been defined now that 1 month to assent or withhold with cabinet advice. Okay, that with the cabinet advice, a governor can withhold or give assent to a bill for maximum for 1 month. Okay, maximum within 1 month they have to do this. Okay, then 3 months to return a bill with regents if rejecting. If they are rejecting a bill, if the governor is rejecting a bill, in that situation they have to reject it with regents within 3 months. Then next part is 3 months to refer to precedent against cabinet advice. Okay, so suppose that the cabinet has said that governor should pass it. So in that situation, if government is not happy with the cabinet advice, they have maximum 3 months to refer it to the president. Within 3 months, they have to refer it to the president. And if there is a repass bill, means suppose that there is any legislative assembly, this has passed a bill. Now the governor has rejected it. Then after this, the legislative assembly passes it again. Pass bill again. Now in this situation, they have to give assent within a month. So now the governor has no option, have to pass the bill, within a month. Now see, there is one more thing here. There is one more thing which has been said by the Supreme Court. That suppose there is a particular bill, a bill X. Now this bill has been passed by the legislative assembly, but the governor has rejected it. Now when the second time it is coming via the legislative assembly again, when the same bill is passed by the legislative assembly again without any modification and it is coming to the governor, then they cannot do one thing. They cannot reserve it for the president. So in this situation, again it has been clarified that cannot reserve it for president. Cannot reserve it for president now. So if you have not reserved the bill in the first instance, then in that second case, you cannot reserve it later. So that is one of the most important change. Earlier what governor used to do, that suppose for the first time it has been passed, so they used to send back the bill. The next time when the bill is passed again, they used to send it for the president's consideration. And president has the veto power. So this act is not changing the veto power of the president. It is just changing the veto power of the governor, not the president. Remember this one important part. It is not changing the veto power of the president. The president can reject it. The president can have the pocket veto indefinitely. So it is not changing that. It is only changing the pocket veto of governor. That now the pocket veto of governor is limited to this time frame. 1 month, 3 months, 1 month. Okay. 1 month to assent or withhold with cabinet advice. Okay. That suppose a bill has been passed, cabinet has said that you have to sign it. So within 1 month, governor has to sign it. Or within 1 month, they can reject it. They can reject it also. Even if the cabinet has said that you have to pass it, if governor says no, I will not pass it, so they have to reject it. But all these things has to be done within a month. If they have to keep it for the like regions, if they want to reject it, maximum 3 months can be given. And if they want to even refer to precedent, maximum 3 months. And in case if it has been repassed, okay, so if it has been repassed, so it must be assented within a month. So this is one of the remarkable change in the governor's pocket veto. I hope this part is clear, that what change has been introduced here. What is the new change in this power of the governor? I hope that part is clear. This is one of the most remarkable change in the constitutional part in the power of the governor. For this year prelims, this may not be important, but this year mains, it is going to be one of the most important topic. Okay, for this year mains examination, it is going to be one of the most important topic, the governor's power to accept, reject or amend a bill. Okay, so this is one thing, the first topic, governor and Supreme Court. The second topic is the union government has filed a caveat petition. It has filed a caveat petition. Caveat petition. So can you tell me what is this caveat petition? In the context of this bill on, now the act, in context of the Waqf Act, now the central government has filed a caveat petition in the Supreme Court. So what is caveat petition? Anyone, can you tell me this? What is caveat petition? Last date was there in the news, caveat petition. Anyone from judicial background? What is caveat petition? No idea? Okay, see, caveat petition, it simply means that there is a petition for asking the judiciary to hear the concerned party without making any judgment. Okay, so the union government has filed this petition for Waqf Act. Okay, for Waqf Act. So suppose that right now what we see that many petition filed against Waqf Act. Okay, so in this scenario, what is the main idea here? That the government has said that before passing any judgment, the judiciary have to hear the side of government. Means suppose that union government has passed this bill. The union government is saying that before passing any judgment on this, before giving any judgment on this Waqf Act, you have to hear our side also. That what we have to say, why this bill is necessary, what are the good part of it, what are the why we have passed this bill and all. So before you pass any judgment, you have to first hear us also. And without hearing us, you should not give any judgment. So that is a type of caveat petition which has been filed by the union government, because there have been a number of cases which has been filed against this Waqf Act. Okay, so now there is a challenge that in some of the cases, suppose if judiciary is giving any judgment without even hearing the side of the government, then it may become a challenge for the government. So that is one part. It has given a caveat petition in advance, that if a petition is filed, then first hear our side also, and then you are free to make the judgment. Okay, so this is one part which has been filed. Just know the meaning of it. Caveat is simply a petition in advance to become a party to a particular matter. before any judgment. So that is why this term was there in the news. Okay. So remember, sometimes they're asking these terms and all in the news, in the examination. So caveat petition is just about this. There is a specific provision in the civil procedure code. Okay. In the CPC, in the civil procedure code, there is a specific provisions which allow filing the caveat petition. So India, it is allowed under the CPC. Okay. So this caveat petition is allowed under CPC. Civil Code of Procedure or Civil Procedure Code. Okay. So under the Civil Procedure Code, it is allowed to file a caveat petition. Not only in this matter. Suppose that there is a housing property. Let us say there is any apartment, there is any flat, there is any society, or there is any such matter, civil matter. And in that, suppose there is any case. Let us say this is an apartment. Okay. This is an apartment, and in that some of the people have filed a case. Okay. Now suppose there are three parties who are present in the case XYZ, but there is another party K, which is also interested in this property. So now X, Y and Z, they have filed a petition against MNO. Okay. They are fighting in the case. So now this K can file a caveat petition in the judiciary. They can file a caveat petition in the judiciary that if there is any hearing on this apartment, you should also consider our side as well. Before passing any judgment, you have to hear our side also. Okay. So this is one part, that for this matter caveat petition is generally provided. Yes, that is also true, Sitesh, that court is going to hear all the parties. So in general also, even if there was a judgment on Aadhaar or judgment on privacy or judgment on any part, of course government is also made a party. Okay. Generally the judiciary also makes the government a party. But this is one of the step by the government to make sure that even if judiciary is not doing that, we are saved. So they are already filing a case, already filing a petition that you have to consider us. There is no option. You have to consider us before passing any judgment. So for that matter, they have given this caveat petition. In general, we see that normally also the courts are following the same procedure. The courts are following the same procedure. Okay. But suppose that in any High Court of India, if there is a challenge to this law, and if the High Court passes a judgment without even hearing to what government has to say, so then it will be challenging for the government. Okay. So in that situation, what has been done is, now the Union government has already filed a caveat petition, so it will be applicable throughout India. Since it has already been filed in the Supreme Court, so it will be now applicable throughout the India. In any case against this Waqf Act, the government of India will be made a party. So that is the meaning of caveat petition. Okay. Now, the third thing is active mobility. The third topic is about active mobility. Okay. So now there is this article. There is this article which is talking about active mobility. Why this topic is there? Karnataka. The Karnataka government has started to focus. Why we are reading this topic? What we see that the Karnataka government, it has started to focus on pedestrian path. Then it has started to focus on cycling tracks. Okay. It has started to focus on pedestrian path and cycling tracks. Now see, in most of the cities, what we have seen that now the government has built, they have constructed huge number of the flyways, huge number of the overbridges and everything. Now these overbridges which are being constructed in various states, in various cities, they are a major hindrance. They are a major hindrance to the active mobility. Because when you are making these when you are making these over bridges, flyovers, then of course the motor engines can easily go over that. But cycles or pedestrian path in these areas may be one of the most challenging tasks. There are many of these flyovers which are quite like having a very sharp edge. Okay. So in that situation, using cycles there or any of the other hand-driven vehicles there is a very challenging part. So Karnataka is one of the state. Apart from this, Pune, Chennai, many other cities, they have also started pedestrian paths and all. So the question is why? Like, what is the advantages? What is the advantages of this? Why we are going to have a focus on this active mobility? What is the advantages or what is the necessity? Can you give some example? What is the necessity? What is the advantage of this active mobility? What is the advantage here? What is the advantage of this? I think every one of you know that. What will be the advantage of this active mobility? What is going to be advantage? I think everyone can tell me. Active mobility means people are moving with the help of cycling, walking. So that is active mobility. Mobility is simply movement of the people, and active mobility means when people are walking, when people are cycling, so that is active mobility. So what is the advantage here? What is the advantage in this scenario? Okay, there is one factor, health, exercise of body, anything else? Health, exercise, calorie burning, okay. Same thing is there. Tell me something extra. Of course, health, the positive physical and mental health, that is one part. Physical and mental well-being. Physical and mental well-being, that is one of the key portions. Reduction in accidents also. Yes, of course, that is one of the major thing. But then you have to see some people are walking, like some people are driving on the pedestrian path also. There is also a challenge. Some of the people are driving their vehicles on pedestrian paths as well. Okay. So of course, this is another benefit. Reduction in fuel cost. Reduction of fuel consumption. There is also environmental benefit. Environmental benefit. Then there will be lesser accidents. Lesser accidents. Then what we see that the healthcare cost will also come down. Healthcare cost is also going to come down. That is also the advantage. When people are walking, when they will become more active, then these all things will also be on the benefit side. Okay. Social interaction will increase. Social interaction, it is also going to increase. Social interaction is also going to increase. Okay. Of course, there will be lesser congestion. Lesser congestion on roads. So there will be less smog formation also. So there are multiple benefits for the side of the government also, for the side of people also, for the side of the entire city also. So when this active mobility is there, there is going to be benefit for all the people, city also, society also, people also, government also. Okay. But there are certain hindrances, there are certain challenges. So one of the major challenges, infrastructure. One of the major challenge is infrastructural challenges. In infrastructural challenges, you will see lack of pedestrian paths, lack of cycling tracks and cycling track. Okay. What we also see that there is lack of basic things. For example, when you have to walk on the road, you need the street lighting. Okay. So there is a need of street lighting. Then encroachment by government agencies as well as public and corporates, shops, businesses. So everyone is encroaching upon the pedestrian path. There are various of the shops, the businesses, the corporates which are just encroaching upon the area. So there is of course this infrastructural challenge. Which we see in case of this active mobility. There is another factor. There is a social challenge. There is a stigma with walking. There is a social stigma with walking. Suppose that when you are walking on the road and when you are driving in a very expensive luxury car, so the perception of the people will change according to that. Okay. So there is a social stigma. If someone is walking on the road, so generally people will think that of course he is having no money, so that's why he is walking on the road. If you are using cycle to go to the school or to the college or to the office, people will think that it is like they are not having that much of money, they are not having the resources, that's why they are using cycle. Okay. So this is one part. What we see that this social stigma. Okay. In many, if you have seen various universities, for example, Harvard or Oxford or others, you may have seen that the professors who are there or the people who are studying there, they are also using cycles to reach in the universities and everywhere. There is proper use of cycles and all in those places. But in India, if someone is, suppose that if your HOD in your college is coming with a cycle, so in that situation, what will be the perception of the students? Okay. So that is also one of the challenge. There is a social stigma. Suppose principal is coming on cycle and other people are coming by their car, then also there is social stigma. So in our country, there is a lack of awareness, and then there is the social stigma also, which is the reason behind this. Lack of awareness. Okay. And then again, of course, the government policies. If we look at this, majorly concentrated across providing facilities for vehicles. So we are making huge number of highways. We are making huge number of flyovers. Last day we have seen a Pamban bridge also. We have seen that we have created a world-class vertical lift bridge in Pamban. So while we are creating all these structures, you will find that many of the foot-over bridges are in a terrible state. Many of the foot-over bridges are just like you cannot even use that. There is no cleaning many of the accelerators or others, they are not working. Many of the steps or many of the areas there, they are broken. There is no safety, no security. Okay. On one side, we are having world-class road, world-class highways, very advanced bridges and all. On the other side, for pedestrian moving, there has been no such innovation in most of the part of the country. Okay. So that is also one challenge. The government's policies are not focused on promotion of cycling, promotion of pedestrian or like walking. So this is also one of the challenge. There is another challenge. There is another challenge which you have to see here. The urban development in India. Okay. The urban development in India. Now see how this urban development in India is happening. Most of the people are traveling from one part of city to the other part of city for their job. They are traveling like 50-60 kilometers for their job. Why? In the areas where we have offices, the rent are too high. It is too expensive. In most of the places where you are having offices, where you are having schools, colleges or government buildings, the rent is too high. It is simply too high to be affordable. So people are not able to afford it. People are not able to like live in that area. So when you are coming from a long distance, of course you cannot drive 30 kilometers per day to reach your office. Okay. So in case of India, what we see that the huge gap in residential and workplace. So that is also one of the main factors. There is a huge gap in residential and workplace. So that's why they are not able to reach there with the help of bicycles, cycles or walking. Okay. So that is also one of the challenge. Okay. So this is the second topic. And see, when we are talking here, we should also keep this in mind that we are making new records. We are making new records every year, that we have this much selling of cars, that much selling of cars or this much highways. But it has never been part of policy that we have got this much of pedestrian path, we have got this much number of cycles. So our focus is in a different area. Our focus is in a different area. That is the challenge. I hope that part is clear. Okay. Now, one last topic, bilateral versus multilateral. Okay. So this is one thing, like recently, after the Trump, like the second era of Trump, in the second era of Trump, now we are having the major challenge. Now we are having a major challenge, that is the threat to multilateralism. Many of the countries are opting for bilateral relations or bilateral deals over multilateralism. So this is also one of the challenge. Okay. That should we have bilateral relations more or multilateral? Okay. So this is one thing which we are going to discuss, the significance of both of them. Okay. See, when we are talking about the bilateral agreements, so these are like tailored agreements. When we are talking about the bilateral relations, they are like tailored agreements specific to both parties' need. For example, it can be trade deal, it can be defense need, it can be energy security, etc. Like we can make a specific deal of nuclear energy with Australia, and at the same time we can have no trade deal on other matters with Australia. So we can have tailored or specific agreements in case of bilateral deals. So here we are talking about the bilateral agreements. Okay, bilateral agreements. The second thing is there is a faster decision making. Okay, there is a faster decision making because there is only two parties. So they are coming with that intent that they are going to finalize a deal. So there is a faster decision making also in case of bilateral agreements. Okay. The third important part is there is a stronger strategic ties. For example, India and Russia, you can see they have this bilateral relation for a very long period of time. or India US also. Now see, we are having relations with India US, we are having India Russia relations, we are having India Israel relation, we are having India Iran relations, we are having India Saudi Arabia relation. Think about this, we are having relations with US. At the same time, we are also maintaining our relation with Russia as well as Iran. Now you know that Russia and Iran don't have a very good relations with US. At the same time, we are having a good relations with Israel, but we are also maintaining a good relation with the Palestine also, with the Iran also, with Syria also. Okay, think about this, Syria and India was having a good relation. So what we see that in the case of bilateral relations, we can have this like a stronger strategic ties with each and other countries. Okay, and we can like negotiate this part. Now there is some cons also, there are certain challenges also. There is limited scope. So this is not a very big or changing moment for the world geopolitics. This is having a very limited scope. The second thing is, it is having this power asymmetry challenge also. Like suppose that if Sri Lanka is making a deal with United States, Sri Lanka and United States, if they are making a deal, there is an asymmetry. Means Sri Lanka cannot negotiate that much efficiently with United States. Okay. So for the smaller countries, there is a challenge that the power asymmetry may be favoring the stronger nation. The power asymmetry can favor the stronger nation as compared to the smaller one. Then there is another factor, duplication of efforts. Like suppose that, let us say, there is an international solar alliance which is talking about promotion of solar energy. But then with France, we are having separate deals for promotion of solar energy. With Britain, we are having separate deal. With several countries of Africa and Asia, we are having separate deals for promotion of renewable energy. So this is like duplication of efforts. So while there is an advantage, that it will have strong strategic ties, it will be a faster deal also. That at the same time, there is going to be tailored agreements that according to the specific need or specific topics can be discussed. Like see, if we talk about India and US relation, think about this, that we are having a tailored agreement that in the case of, suppose if we are talking about this India and US relation, you can see that on trade front also, now we are negotiating that how we can manage this tariff war. We are not making comments like China, Canada or European Union. We are negotiating how we can reduce this part and how we can manage around this. Okay. So there can be tailored agreement in case of bilateral deals. Okay. Then if we are talking about the multilateralism, what is the advantages? In case of multilateralism, what is the example? What is the approach? Collective problem solving. Like if there is a problem, for example, climate change, for example, this global warming or climate change, melting of the ice, the impact on Arctic, Antarctic, ozone layer depletion, pollution. So these cannot be done by one or two countries. They cannot be done by one or two countries. There are major global issues. There are trade related issues also. There is terrorism related issues also. So that requires a global effort, a collective effort. So what we see that there is a requirement of collective problem solving in many of the cases. For example, COVID pandemic. The COVID pandemic cannot be solved just by two countries or three countries. It has to be solved on a global level. What we also see that this provides a equal platform. So even the, like for example, small island developing states or developing nations, they get an equal voice on the environment platforms. Suppose if there is a COP meeting, in the COP meeting, the developing countries or small island developing states, they get this equal platform also. So that is also the value of this multilateralism. The third part is standardization. Okay. So generally, when there is a global policy, so there is standard or harmonious policies. It's not that, like suppose India and US are making a deal that we will have no tariff on any goods. India and Japan are making deals that we will have 5% tariff. Japan and US are making deal that we will have 2.5% tariff. Okay. So when there is too much of bilateral relation, there won't be a common policy throughout the world. So this will not be like promoting the globalized effort or globalization in that sense. Okay. So there will be not such uniformity. There will not be any such uniformity in the world. So that is one thing, that it promotes the standardization. But what are the cons? What are the challenges? The slow and bureaucratic process. Many of the deals are being finalized for decades. Many of the deals are being finalized for decades and they have not been finalized yet. Okay. They keep on going. There is only meeting and meeting and meeting. The best example is COP29 or COP meetings of UNFCCC. We are working on this COP since 1992 itself, but there has been no such concrete step. There is only some meetings, some policies are announced, but there is a slow and bureaucratic process which requires a huge amount of time. So that is the challenge. Then geopolitical rivalries. Okay. For example, the United Nations Security Council. This United Nations Security Council in the present times is an inefficient organization. It cannot take a single decision in the present geopolitics. It cannot take a single major decision in the present geopolitics. China will go one way, Russia will go another way, US will go another way. Now even France and Britain, they will also be having their own say. So there is no major decision which can be taken here in the present geopolitics because of increasing rivalries. And at the same time, this diluted national interest is also there. Sometimes for the smaller countries and for the developing nations, their own personal interests are often sidelined. For example, just to give you an example, Botswana, they have one simple source, elephant. If they are selling the tusk of the elephant, that is going to bring them money. They don't have any other resource. But in the name of CITES, in the name of Convention on International Trade of Endangered Species of Flora and Fauna, in the name of CITES, they are prohibited to trade the tusk of the elephant. So many of the African countries for those countries for which the wildlife and the trophies associated with it are the major source of revenue, for them there is no option. Why? Because in the name of global conventions, they are not getting the option. So I hope that is clear. What is the benefit and challenges of unilateralism and multilateralism? Okay, I hope that part is clear. So there is this one small news also. There is a Soyuz spacecraft which is going to the International Space Station, and see here, 2 Russian astronauts and 1 American astronaut is going together on this Soyuz aircraft to the International Space Station. Okay. So this is one such simple update, not that much important, but this was also there in the news. Okay. So I hope this part is clear. So now I have one question for you. Like, think about this question and like think 4 or 5 points about this question, and then you can answer that later in the comment box. That should India go for bilateralism or multilateralism? Okay. Should India go for bilateralism or multilateralism? That is the question. You are not able to study properly at home. Like, see, in many of the cities now there are options of libraries also. So if the problem is that you are not able to concentrate because of so many activities at home, then you can consider going for libraries, or suppose if you are not able to concentrate just because a number of thoughts are coming to your mind, I will suggest that you can do some yoga or meditation activities. So this will help you to calm down your mind. Third thing is, you can make a target, and when you are trying to do a targeted study, then also you will be able to manage your time much more efficiently. So first try to find out what is the main challenge, and accordingly you can find the solution for it. Okay. So if there is an infrastructure challenge, then you may try to shift to some other place for study, maybe your friend's home, or maybe any relative, or maybe library. If it is from your side that you are not able to concentrate, then just do some yoga and this meditation activities. This will help you to gain the control over your mind. Remember this one thing, I have taught many of you in this nervous system part that all these thoughts which are there, they are under your willpower. They are all under your willpower. If you want to be happy even on a sad occasion, you can still be happy. Or if you want to be sad in a happy moment also, you can be sad. Okay. So it is all as per your thoughts. You have the complete control over these things. So you can choose what you have to do. If it is from your side, you have to make your willpower strong. You have to make your willpower strong, and you can do it. Okay. How to make strong our vocab skills? Newspapers, English magazines, or your books. You can follow that. Okay. See, your vocab will improve when you start writing. When you start writing and when you start searching for the words, then it will improve. When you will simply read and try to memorize the topics, memorize the words, your vocabulary would not improve. Your vocab will improve when you will try to write something. So think about different ideas, try to write them down, and when you are doing so, you will need some words. You will need some words, and that will help to improve your vocab skills. So of course you will need reading also from there, or you will need searching also. But then first you have to write. See, necessity is the mother of invention. You know na? Necessity is the mother of invention. So same thing applies here also. When you need the words, you will find them and you will use them. So first create that necessity. When you start that necessity, you will get the words also. Okay. So that is one part, how you can improve your vocab skills. Okay. So that is the question for the day. Should India pursue bilateralism or multilateralism? That is the question. Try to give the answer of this question in the comment box. Okay. Thank you everyone. Take care, and let's meet in the crash course at 6:30. Thank you so much. Take care.